how do we start this? Welcome back. You've never been here before. You've never been here. Welcome for the first time.
For the first time.
Okay, we're doing it.
Yeah.
This is a podcast.
Yeah.
All right, we're live. Episode 1.
I'm freaking out. Wow. Okay. This is the craziest thing. This is the craziest thing. I can't believe we're actually doing this.
It is crazy because we talked about it. Well, we talked about it and it came out of nowhere.
Literally out of nowhere.
For both of us.
For both of us. I know.
Here we are.
I know. The story is so crazy, y'all. We cannot wait to share this with you. And we weren't sure, like, do we share this on the front end? Do we tell you more about who we are? We know that everybody and their mom is starting a podcast. So
literally,
this is like, we have to get out of our heads and not worry about what people think about us. But we really believe that God just like honestly called us to do this and called us to each other. And Sarah and I have known each other for what? 9, 8, 7 years? 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I was 25. You were 26.
Yep.
We were both working in a corporate job.
Yeah.
Can we call it corporate?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we can call it corporate because we're just not corporate girlies.
Yeah,
but it was a corporate. it was a corporate job for sure. Yeah, it was a long time ago because that was 7 years ago.
Okay, what was going on in your life at that time?
Goodness gracious.
You were 26.
I was 26. I had just started teaching spin on the side as like a side hustle to make extra money. And also it was like the scary thing I wanted to try to do. So I was 26. I was working as an executive assistant to an EVP at a company in Franklin. And yeah, I was just side hustling and working, and then in comes this gorgeous brunette, and I'm like, I need to be friends with her. And then you walk in, and then
we instantly became best friends.
And we got in trouble together because we were always hiding under the desk. Like, what were we doing?
I had like the best desk. My desk, you like walk into the office. Oh, just office and desk.
I know. Also, too, if anyone from our job hears this, we're like, yeah, no wonder you girls don't work in the corporate world anymore. Crazy.
Truly. But like my desk happened to be like in the very back, and week 1, we hit it off. We were friends, and we would just go to my desk, hide under the desk, giggle, talk,
literally
talk
giggle.
about boys, talk about life.
Everyone's like, "Where's Sarah and Kinsey?" And we're
probably
hiding.
At Sarah's desk.
Yeah, probably at Sarah's desk, talking about boys and life and all the things.
Crazy. Yeah, I had just moved down from East Nashville. I was living life up there as a Broadway girl, just like going out, doing all the things. I mean, I was 25. That is a whole nother thing we'll go into on another episode.
Yeah.
But I moved down to Franklin and started working at Ramsey, and just kind of felt like that was a different season of life of trying to just because I don't know. It was a lot of uncertainties, which I think is a lot of 20s.
Yeah.
And
so true.
Figuring out what's next, what am I doing, what's going on, who am I?
Yeah. Yep.
It was a season of life I was in.
Yeah, I know. And I think that's something that Sarah and I both are so, and I won't speak for her, but we are both so passionate about women. And in our 20s, we were just struggling. Like, we didn't know what we wanted to do. We didn't really know who we were. And I know for me, I was incredibly just lost. And I was in a relationship at the time, I remember, and just kind of trying to figure things out. And not necessarily a late bloomer, but somebody that definitely has to go by trial and error. And I have to like experience things and kind of learn the hard way. And so
me too, girl.
We learned the hard way. And that's a big part and a big driver, I think I would say, for this podcast is that we want to share these stories. And because our lives are so aligned, Sarah and I, and the season that we're in, and we're both single and we're both in our 30s and we live in the South and we have brothers and we kind of just grew up tomboy. We love sports and
have our own businesses. Like both love fitness. Both are so passionate about investing in younger women.
Yep. And we desire, like, our heart is to be married and to be a wife and to have kids, but that's not where God has us right now. And we are so content in that. And also we still fight and live in the tension of wanting and desiring that and feeling like we're behind. So we feel like we want to share with girls and young women and just women, or even guys too, if you're listening, just the life lessons that we've had. And we feel like God is calling us to do that. And we have resisted for the last 6 months, and finally we're doing it.
Okay, wait, Kenzie, let's tell them like how this all happened.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, cause it was crazy. I'm from Franklin, Tennessee. I was living in Charleston, South Carolina. I had been there for 3 years. And this was earlier this year. So earlier 2024. And Kenzie was living, where were you?
I had just moved back to Nashville in January of 2024.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think we started getting back in touch. We always DM'd.
We would just DM. I'd see you post a cute boy. I'm like, who's that?
Yeah, cute boy. I'm like, who's that? Who's that cute boy?
Cute boy.
Okay,
and
what's going on?
Like praying for each other, talking to, like just keeping up.
So basically, Sarah and I we had worked together at Ramsey, and then I left to start my own business. Sarah left to start her own business, which is really cool. And we both moved outside of Nashville. So I moved to Austin, Texas. Sarah moved to Charleston, and then we had kind of kept in touch, and I really feel like the Lord was putting us on each other's hearts because we hadn't gone through our breakups yet. And then I broke up with my boyfriend and moved back to Nashville pretty much in the same weekend, which we will get into at a later episode. Yeah. And then Sarah moved back, in March? I moved back in January.
I moved back in May.
May. Okay, it was May.
But you were in Mexico in March.
I was in Mexico in March. Yeah. Okay. So I was in Mexico, and I had just moved back to Nashville in January and was just jumped right back into work. I run a spin studio here in Nashville called Full Ride. And I was in Mexico with my Austin girlfriends, and just a small world. Sarah, you're related to Lauren, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
I call her my cousin, but she's my sister-in-law's cousin.
Sister-in-law's.
It's my brother's wife's cousin.
Yes.
So she's my cousin.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
And
Lauren,
so
shout out to you.
Yeah, Lauren, we love you. She is one of my close girlfriends from Austin. And so we were roomies in Mexico. And we were talking about Sarah, and I had just been, my girlfriends, when I turned, I think 32, my close girlfriends in Nashville bought me podcast equipment because they were like, you need to start a podcast. Did you not know this? Okay, they bought me podcast equipment, but it was like kind of like a push to go try something. They were like, you need to start a podcast.
Oh my gosh.
And I guess you could say I somewhat speak for a living in a way. I teach classes, but I definitely love to like make it more than just a spin class. And I love words, and I love putting words together. And I really feel like the Lord speaks to me when I'm in my spin class and I'm teaching. So
He does.
It was kind of like a big, hairy, audacious goal, that big, high goal of like, let's start a podcast. But I was never going to do it because I didn't want to do it alone. Imposter syndrome. Also, I just felt like no one was going to want to listen to what I had to say. So I put that off. And then I know the enemy is so ugly, but I'm in Mexico, and I kid you not, I had like a vision, and I don't mean for this to sound eerie, but I remember literally getting up from the pool and going to the restroom. And I was like, man, if I started a podcast, I would want to do it with Sarah. And I don't know. And Sarah didn't even live in Nashville yet. And we had been talking, but not about podcasts, not about really anything. And I walked into the bathroom and I was like, this is so weird. And because I was by the water, I love being by the water. I was with these incredible women, and we were just dreaming about life and all these things. It just came to me. And the next day.
Well, the crazy thing is, so what is this? You're in Mexico
I'm in Mexico in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was like January, February, and I feel like the Lord was just doing a lot in me, kind of stirring things in my heart about like leaving Charleston and what does that look like and where to next. And I knew it was back home, but it was just like when. And I felt like I had multiple people tell me like, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? And I'm like, no chance.
No chance.
Absolutely not. Cringe. I don't know. And then it just kept happening. And then I felt like it was 2 or 3 times, and so it started being something that was on my heart, and was like, maybe should I? Felt like I would pray about it and journal and just be like, I don't think I can do this by myself. And I just was praying like, Lord, if this is something you have for me, I feel like I need a girl who is like, has the same passion. Like, cause why am I doing podcasts? I don't want to hear myself talk unless
I do. I want to hear you talk.
Like, am I doing that? What am I doing this for? I want to do it for the Lord. And so how can I do this? Like, what am I sharing?
Yeah.
And so that's where I was.
Yeah.
So then I texted you.
Yep.
Just said, hey, Kens, classic catch up, right?
Yeah.
Hey, your response. Are you moving back to Nashville?
Literally the next day. I remember walking through the airport headed out of Mexico. She texts me like, hey, Kens, guess what? And I was like, are you moving back to Nashville, in all caps? We had literally not talked about her moving back to Nashville.
That was, like, why you thought that.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
And I was like, actually, yes, I am. She said, crazy. I had a dream last night and we started a podcast. And I said, that's it. It was like, I read that text and I looked at it and I was like, it's her. Let's do it. Like, I just love who Kenzie is. I love your heart for people.
So sweet.
I think watching what Full Ride has done here in Nashville and like what the impact you have made on other people, your relationship with the Lord, And then I only knew bits and pieces of your story at that time. I knew that you were in a serious relationship. I knew something happened, but I wasn't sure the extent of that. But I just was like, I know her heart, and that is somebody I could partner with. And
so sweet.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And yeah, just because of our history and the way that I feel the same way about you, like you're the type of one of the things, the best advice that I've been given about kind of your circle is, would you trade life with that person? Like, would you completely if I could jump into your body and live your life, would I? And I couldn't change anything about your life. Like, I couldn't say, well, I would want her body, or I would want her career, or I would want her relationship. No, it's like literally everything about that person. Would you truly want to take hold of that and just swap places? And you're an immediate yes for me. It's so true. I just love you so much, and I look up to you, and I just feel so at ease when I'm around you. And I love that your heart is for women. And I want you to share like what you do, because you are a life coach and you run your own business, and like tell everybody too, like what you do on your day to day.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I am a life coach, and I honestly think, which this is so cool, just like the butterfly effect of how everything plays out as it does. But like us working at Ramsey, having that education, knowledge about starting your own business, I think fueled me to do that. Yeah. And then I knew I was passionate about relationships. I knew I was passionate about women. I think part of my story is like the girl I was, and the things that happened to me, just having somebody walk alongside of me is everything.
Yeah.
And so I think all of that together, just back in 2020, a lot of dreaming happened. And I think it just hit me, and I was like, this is what I want. I want to pour in a younger woman. And so started taking classes, got certified, became a life coach, and launched my business in 2021. So I do that, life coach for young women, middle school, high school, college girls, and
me. I go to you.
And you all the time. And all my friends. Sarah, help me. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I think I just am so passionate about that. And from my youngest girl's 12, and I have girls up to late 20s. So and cool. I think it's just such a hard time. And I think that's why we're both so passionate about it. Yeah. It's just speaking life into that. And so much of it comes down to your identity, confidence, finding, being insecure about things, social media, technology. I mean, there's
so much.
Yeah. And so anyways, I think you and I we share that. We share that passion.
Yeah, we totally share that passion. And it's so crazy because our lives are so aligned with leaving Nashville and then coming back to Nashville and going through breakups, months apart with guys that I think we both thought we were going to end up with potentially.
For sure.
And we're going to dive into all of that because, I think that's something too that's been driving us to start this podcast is kind of like being big sisters in a way to share the things that we've walked through to then help other people walk through or maybe not make the same decisions that we made or maybe be able to see the warning signs that we didn't see. And now we have wisdom because we know the difference. And so a big part for us to start this podcast is to be those kinds of people that you guys can come to and talk to. And we're going to talk about real stuff and real mistakes that we've made and real life lessons that we've learned. And that's been a huge driver for both of us. And kind of just recording the conversations Sarah and I have out when we're not recording a podcast. Like we just want to make it super real and inspire.
Speaking of, let's just share about how even if, because I know we talked about the podcast and how we both had this desire. Yeah. And I feel like the Lord put it on our hearts at the same time. But how did we get the name even if? Because even that, I think that is what I hope and pray for in this podcast even is just the little ways that we have seen God. Yeah. I mean, the heart behind this. I mean, for me, so much of my story, I know this is you too. I am 32. Am I 32? I'm 32.
Yeah, you're 32. I'm like, how old are you? You know that age where you're like, you forget. Yeah. I'm like, I'll never forget. 30s. I'm like, no, I forget.
I want to be married. I want to have kids. And also the things I have seen God do in my life and the ways I have seen him work and change me and shape me. And I know that a lot of that has happened in my singleness and as a result of people I have dated, and he has used all of that for his good. And so I think just even that part of our story, that is our story. Yeah. That is our story. And that's our passion.
Yep.
But yes. Okay. How did we get the title even if?
Yeah. Okay. So I gotta remember. Basically, again, I'm in Mexico. I'm on the plane. We text about the fact that, okay, I had this vision dream about us starting a podcast. Sarah's like, no way. I journaled about starting a podcast and it was like an immediate yes. And then I'm on the plane and I don't have Wi-Fi. I'm just journaling. about even if, and it's been kind of something that I've gone by because I really feel like what if people go, what if I don't get the job, what if the relationship fails, what if I don't get it right, what if I get it wrong, what if is all fear-based. But even if the relationship fails, even if you don't get the job, he is still so good and you're going to be okay. And so I was just journaling about that, and then I remember when I landed, I texted Sarah, what are your thoughts on like even if, like what do you feel when you think about that? And she's like, no way, I was literally just reading in Daniel, and then you should share that story because that's crazy.
It's I feel like I have chills like hearing it all over again.
It's so wild.
So I honestly was encouraged because you this year have done Word of the Month, which has been such a cool thing. Every month, just kind of picking a word. But it was beginning of March, and I was thinking, what's my word for this month? And I feel like numbers are a big thing for me. Like I see numbers and I feel like the Lord speaks to me through that sometimes. So I'm reading, so it's the third month, it's March. So I was reading Daniel 3, chapter 3, and I'm reading through it, and it's the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And let me pull it up and just read it. I had it here. So Daniel 3:16, it starts, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him, King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your God or worship the image of gold you have set up. And I had just read that and thought about the impact, like the trust that these guys had. Right? I mean, they were like, even if we're going into this fire furnace, and even if like he is still good. So I'm literally reading Daniel 3.
It's so wild.
And I feel like the key phrase in that, like I've seen on t-shirts, you go to camp, you know, it's like and if not, he is good. And even if, and you say this to me as I'm reading Daniel 3, like praying about my word of the month. And I was like, is my word of the month even if?
Yeah.
Is this podcast even if?
Yeah. I literally get it tattooed on my hand, even if. It is wild. It really is. And I think that honestly, when I was deciding to move to Austin, I was absolutely terrified because people just didn't understand. They're like, you have this great community, you have a business, you're here in Nashville in this awesome, thriving city. Why would you want to go to Austin? And I literally felt paralyzed whether to do what kind of decision to make. I was like, am I going to go? Am I going to stay? Am I going to go? Am I going to say what's the right decision? And one of my girlfriends told me, she was like, Kins, you're not going to, even if you get it wrong, you're still not going to get it wrong. And I think that was the biggest thing was like, it's okay to get it wrong. It's okay for it to not work out. And what happened to me over the last year was every single fear I had essentially came true. You know, I lost the studio. I lost a lot of money. My relationship failed.
We got to do a whole podcast on this.
Girl, we got to do a whole lot of podcasts on all this.
Happened.
Yeah, there's so much. And
like God is still good.
He's
like,
still
even
good.
if that didn't happen. And I think that is the heart. Like that is
Exactly. Even if, and it's so funny because I'm like looking back and I'm like, I would walk through all that all over again to be where I am. And so even if, that's why I have it tattooed on my hand, and why a big part of why we've driven this towards the even if mindset, because Sarah and I are not where we thought we'd be, but we don't want to be anywhere else. You know, it's so cool how God can do that and deliver. I remember when I was young, be like, oh my gosh, when I'm 33, I'm going to have a car and a house and a husband and probably a kid by then. And
I thought I'd have 10 kids by
10 kids. You for sure 10. You will have 10, but it's not at 32. But yeah, we're just not where we thought we'd be. And I think that's so relatable. I just think that's so relatable in any season of life. And that's something that we'll talk about too, and how to wait well, and the fact that it doesn't matter where you're at in life, and it doesn't matter what season you're in. You're always going to be in a season of waiting. And so I just think it's something that people don't necessarily talk about in a vulnerable way because they want to be perceived like they have it all together, but nobody does. And so again, another huge driver for this podcast is just, it's a passion project for Sarah and I to encourage, because I really believe that's the gift that God gave us, is to encourage people.
Yeah. And we don't have it together. Like,
oh my gosh,
no idea what we're doing. We have literally no idea what we're doing.
No.
Like this podcast is so scary.
It's terrifying.
Like, truly no idea what we're doing. Just both passionate about the same things and feel like if this is a way we can encourage somebody else, because yes, I have days where I'm like, I am 32 and single, and this makes sense because the Lord has given me this desire to pour into women and invest and do these things and start this and start that and have friendships and start a podcast. And there's days that I just cry my eyes out about why.
Yeah.
Why. And that's the real. And that's what we want to be here for, is just say, this is real. This is literally what Kenzie and I, every Tuesday, we would go to Urban Market.
Oh, Urban Market's our place.
And just talk.
Yeah.
And I think I would always leave feeling encouraged of just you reminding me of the truth. Were you reminding me of who I am, that there's a plan, that there's a purpose. And I think that's our hope for y'all, is just anyone who may be listening to this.
Yeah.
To be encouraged.
Yeah. And that you're not alone. We're in it with you. We're in the arena with you. We're not talking at you like we have it together. We're in it. And I think it definitely is going to hit harder hearing things from people who are in similar seasons, you know, and that's our hope and prayer. Like we want where we are for God to use it. And one of my best friend, actually, she's in Austin, but she's been telling me, she's like, you got to talk about where you are now. Like people want to hear where you are now because people are always talking about, you know, once they get the ring, they're talking about singleness. Like, it's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. But no one's actually talking about it when you're in that season, or when, you know, when you hit that, you know, when you create that business and it's really successful, you're getting advice from people that have success, but you're not necessarily, they can talk about it when they were in the trenches, but it is really kind of nice to hear about it when someone else is also in the trenches, you know, it just hits a little differently. And so we definitely don't have it figured out, but we're in it, we're in it.
This is fun.
I feel like we could keep talking, but yeah, we should probably wrap this up. And we are going to start launching from here on out. We'll have a podcast come out every week. We'll probably do it for a couple months until the holidays, maybe take a little break and then go. But we're really just, this is a passion project. We're doing it because we feel called to do it. So you can follow us on Instagram, and we're going to be sharing tons of things and so much more to come on dating, relationships, career, being a woman, all the things. All right. Well,
and remember,
even if
he's still good.
Let's go, baby. Okay. I'm praying it we recorded.